Easter Island's Moai, the multi-tonons statues, some measuring more than 20 meters in length and weighing more than 75 tons, were carved out of the island's quarry of volcanic tuff and then transported over the island's rugged terrain. For centuries, the massive stone heads of Easter Island known as the Moai have fascinated and baffled the world. Standing silently across the island, they've inspired endless questions. Who built them? And what lies beneath? Giant Easter Island Maui statues are covered in mysterious symbols. Experts were confused as to why the bodies were decorated when they were kept underground for no one to see. Were they buried underground on purpose? Or did they slowly sink over time? Well, thanks to recent AI-powered scans, we might finally have answers, and they're far more shocking than anyone imagined. Buried secrets, mysterious carvings, and possible ancient warnings have surfaced, and they're changing everything we thought we knew. The Moai mystery. Let's not dance around it. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui, is one of the most mysterious places on Earth. You've seen the photos. Enormous stone heads scattered across grassy hills, staring off into the distance like they're guarding some ancient secret. But here's the kicker. They're not just heads. For years, many assumed the Moai were simply statues from the neck up, as that's all you could see above the ground. But recent digs have revealed something far stranger. Those heads are actually attached to full-bodied statues, some standing over 30 feet tall. And as of this year, AI has helped uncover what even careful excavations couldn't. Using ground-penetrating radar, GPR, drone LAR scans, and advanced AI imaging algorithms, researchers created detailed models of what lies beneath these enigmatic giants. What they found wasn't just dirt and stone, it was history, mystery, and perhaps even a warning from the past. Entire torsos were revealed underground, many of them carved with symbols and inscriptions that had never been seen before. Some of these patterns resemble ancient Polynesian art, but others they don't quite match anything known. Stranger still, researchers detected voids beneath some of the statues, chamber-like spaces that could indicate ritual burial sites, storage rooms, or well, news of the discoveries sent ripples through the archaeological world, and a wave of viral freakouts across the internet. People were fascinated, of course, but also spooked. Why were these chambers sealed so carefully? What do the carvings mean? And what kind of society had the tools, knowledge, and coordination to carve and bury dozens of these colossal figures? For some, it was just an exciting new chapter in the Moai mystery. For others, it felt like the beginning of a much bigger and possibly darker story. So, how exactly did artificial intelligence go from predicting your next song on Spotify to digging into one of history's most iconic mysteries? Welcome to Archaeology in the Age of AI, and it's wild. How AI got involved. A whole new lens on ancient mysteries. For decades, archaeologists studied the Moai the old-fashioned way. Manual excavation, careful surveying, and tons of guesswork. And to be fair, they did a lot with what they had. But the Moai are tricky. Many are half-buried. In early 2025, a team of researchers from a partnership between Stanford University, the University of Chile, and a private AI tech company called GeoDepth deployed a suite of tools: ground-penetrating radar, drone-mounted light detection and ranging, and multispectral imaging. This generated massive datasets like terabytes of raw info on soil density, subsurface voids, and structural anomalies under the statues. But here's the magic. AI took all that chaotic data and made sense of it. Using deep learning algorithms, the system was trained to recognize patterns in ancient construction, geological layering, and even detect hollow spaces that might suggest chambers, tunnels, or artifacts. Within days, the AI flagged dozens of Moai statues as having complex subsurface structures beneath them, patterns that matched neither natural formations nor previously understood human excavation. Some looked like tunnels, others like sealed vaults. One had what appeared to be a staircase leading nowhere, or perhaps leading to somewhere that had been buried for 1,000 years. Unlike humans, AI doesn't get tired, biased, or distracted. It compared thousands of historical dig results with the new data and started forming new hypotheses almost instantly. That's when the discoveries got weird. One scan revealed carvings far below the surface that were impossible to see or even guess at from above. These weren't just decorative etchings. Some appeared to be glyphs, writing, symbols, warnings. Some researchers believe these could be early protocrypt, visual storytelling predating modern Polynesian languages. Others think the carvings point to rituals or religious practices we've never seen before. The most controversial theory that the Moai were not just tributes to ancestors, but guardians placed at tops anal sites for a very specific reason. And here's the kicker. We might never have known any of this without AI. These scans didn't just reveal physical features. They opened an entirely new chapter of investigation. Suddenly, Easter Island isn't just a historical footnote. It's a technological frontier. What they found underground. Secrets locked for centuries. All right, now, here's where things go from pretty cool to jaw-dropping. Once the AI finished processing all the scans from beneath the Moai, researchers weren't prepared for just how deep, literally and figuratively, the mystery would go. The statues weren't just standing at top bedrock or dirt. Beneath them were hidden chambers, carved passageways, and symbolic markings that had likely gone untouched for over 1,000 years. Let's start with the most dramatic discovery. Under at least 7 of the scanned Moai, there appeared to be man-made voids, perfectly geometric in shape. Think chambers about the size of a small room buried over 10 feet below the base of the statues. One scan revealed what looks like a spiral staircase, although it's still unclear whether it leads anywhere or was a symbolic architectural design. The chambers aren't accessible yet, but the evidence is clear. Something was intentionally built and then sealed beneath the Moai. And what about the carvings? These weren't just decorative flourishes. The AI's multispectral scans uncovered subsurface etchings on the torsos and lower bodies of many statues invisible to the naked eye due to erosion and centuries of burial. The markings resemble a mix of Polynesian petroglyphs, solar symbols, and geometric spirals. Some archaeologists believe these designs could be astronomical markers similar to ancient star maps. Others think they might be spiritual or ritualistic warnings. The wildest theory that these markings align with celestial events like eclipses or solstices, suggesting the Moai might have served as a massive planetary calendar. That alone would be impressive, but things got darker from there. One chamber scan showed what appeared to be stone slabs arranged in a pattern, possibly covering something or someone. Some researchers suspect these might be burial sites of high-ranking Rapa Nui leaders, shamans, or spiritual figures. Others are going further, suggesting that the Moai weren't just memorials, but part of an entire underground ritual complex built to honor the dead and keep something buried literally and metaphorically. And then came the part that had the internet losing its collective mind. One Moai statue located far from the usual clusters revealed a pattern on its torso resembling a wave engulfing a figure. It looked suspiciously like a depiction of a flood or a tsunami. Paired with the symbols around it, some researchers began to speculate that this could be a warning about an ancient disaster. Was Easter Island once hit by a massive flood? Was this knowledge passed down through symbols etched into stone as a warning for future generations? Of course, no one's claiming there's an ancient doomsday prophecy hidden in the Moai yet, but the symbols, chambers, and artifacts are undeniably deliberate, and that's what makes them so powerful. These weren't random structures or superstitions. They were built with intent, and now, over 1,000 years later, AI just pulled back the curtain. Now that we know what was found beneath the Moai, the chambers, the carvings, the symbols, the big question becomes, what does it all mean? Could these discoveries simply be part of a lost cultural practice? Or is there something far more unsettling behind it all? The terrifying interpretations and why some experts are worried. So now we know there are chambers. We know there are carvings. We know something or someone was intentionally buried beneath the Moai. But here's where it gets a little unsettling. No one can agree on why. And some of the theories, they're enough to keep you up at night. Let's start with the obvious. Those tsunami-like carvings. Some experts believe they point to an ancient cataclysmic event, possibly a massive flood, volcanic eruption, or even a meteor strike. Easter Island is volcanic after all. It's not a stretch to imagine that the original inhabitants might have experienced and mythologized a natural disaster of epic proportions. But here's the catch. Several of the Moai contain similar carvings across totally different parts of the island. That consistency has raised a chilling theory. What if the Moai were placed to warn future generations? In this interpretation, the Moai aren't just monuments. They're markers, each one planted like a flag in places where something terrible happened or might happen again. And then there's the theory that's got Reddit conspiracy threads going absolutely feral. The containment hypothesis. This one's darker. It suggests that the Moai weren't just placed to honor the dead or guide the spirits. They were meant to trap something. The sealed chambers, the heavy slabs, the deep burial of entire statues, all of it, according to this theory, points to a culture that believed something dangerous had to be kept underground, something that should never be disturbed. Yeah, that's a vibe straight out of a horror movie. Of course, mainstream archaeologists are cautious. They warn against sensationalism and respect the spiritual beliefs of the Rapa Nui people. Many insist that the Moai were peaceful markers built with reverence, not fear. Still, even some respected scholars admit they're rattled by the scale of what AI has uncovered. One researcher, Dr. Helena Cruz from the University of Chile, went on record saying these chambers, whatever they were used for, were sealed intentionally. The effort that took the engineering precision, it wasn't casual. It wasn't random. Someone wanted them closed forever. Then there's the ethical debate. Should we open the chambers? Should we excavate what's beneath? Or are we risking desecrating something sacred or worse, unleashing something we don't understand? The indigenous Rapa Nui community who have ancestral ties to the builders of the Moai are calling for caution. Many believe the land is sacred and that AI or not, some things are meant to remain buried. But as the world watches, one thing is clear. What was once a silent mystery is now screaming for answers. And not everyone is ready to hear them. Global buzz, internet meltdown, theories, and pop culture explosion. If there's one thing the internet loves more than a good mystery, it's a mystery involving ancient statues, secret chambers, and possible prophecies. As soon as word got out about the AI scans on Easter Island, it was like lighting a fuse. Within hours, hashtags like hashtag Moai Secrets, hashtag Easter Island, and hashtag Ancient Warning were trending worldwide. TikTok exploded with videos showing eerie drone footage of the statues superimposed with ominous music and captions like, "What did they bury beneath these things?" One video claiming the Moai were guarding the gates to the underworld racked up over 30 million views in 2 days. It wasn't just TikTok either. YouTube channels that specialize in history, mystery, and conspiracy theories pumped out content at breakneck speed. Titles like, "Is there an ancient alien prison beneath Easter Island?" "Is my statues decoded?" "Humanity was warned," pulled in millions of views. Some were just harmless fun. Others, let's just say they pushed the limits of imagination and logic. Reddit went full detective mode. Entire threads tried to cross-reference Moai locations with global seismic patterns. Others analyzed the carved wave symbol found on one statue, comparing it to flood myths from other ancient cultures like Atlantis, Sumeria, and even the biblical flood story. Some users suggested that Rapa Nui may have been a cultural relay point for lost civilizations, preserving warnings from far older societies. Meanwhile, meme culture jumped in with both feet. Images of the Moai were plastered with captions like, "When you realize the statues were never just heads. Moai the original apocalypse preers and you verse the ancient evil she told you not to worry about." Even brands tried to cash in. A major streaming platform teased a docuseries called Unearthed: The Secrets Beneath the Moai, while a sci-fi author fast-tracked a thriller novel set on Easter Island involving ancient beings and a buried prophecy. Within weeks, the Moai weren't just historical artifacts. They were full-blown pop culture icons. Of course, not all the attention was positive. Some scholars voiced concerns that the flood of viral content was spreading misinformation, sensationalizing the findings and disrespecting the cultural and spiritual significance of the statues. Indigenous Rapa Nui leaders also urged the global community to treat their heritage with reverence, not just as a canvas for conspiracies. Still, the buzz shows no sign of slowing. The mystery has all the ingredients of a modern myth. Ancient ruins, advanced tech, secret symbols, and a potential warning to humanity. It hits something primal. The idea that maybe, just maybe, the past knew something we don't. And let's be honest, in an age of AI, climate change, and global uncertainty, people are hungry for meaning. Whether the Moai hold ancient wisdom, spiritual truths, or just some seriously impressive engineering, one thing's for sure: they've captured the world's imagination like never before. With the world buzzing, theories flying, and ancient secrets re-emerging from the ground, it's easy to get swept up in the mystery. But beyond the hype and headlines, one thing is certain: this changes everything. So, what does all of this mean? Not just for Easter Island, but for the future of archaeology itself. What this means for the future of archaeology. The Moai discoveries have done more than just blow people's minds online. They've sparked a serious conversation in the scientific world about the future of archaeology itself. Because let's face it, when artificial intelligence can scan, analyze, and interpret millennia-old mysteries in a matter of hours, we're not just uncovering the past. We're redefining how we study it. Until recently, archaeology was a slow, painstaking process. Digging, cataloging, dating. It could take years just to uncover a single structure, let alone interpret its significance. But with AI, we now have tools that can process thousands of data points in minutes, spot patterns invisible to the human eye, and make predictions based on probabilities no single expert could calculate alone. That's not just efficient, it's revolutionary. And Easter Island is quickly becoming the poster child for this new era. The implications go far beyond the Moai. If AI can do this on a remote volcanic island in the Pacific, imagine what it could reveal under the sands of Egypt, deep in the Amazon rainforest, or beneath the ruins of ancient Mesopotamia. Already, universities and tech companies are collaborating on similar scanning projects at sites like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. We're on the brink of what some are calling a second renaissance, a wave of rediscovery powered by algorithms rather than shovels. But with that power comes serious questions. For one, how do we balance scientific curiosity with cultural respect? Indigenous communities around the world are speaking up, reminding researchers that sacred sites aren't just data points, they're part of living traditions. The Rapa Nui people in particular have called for careful consideration before opening any of the newly discovered chambers. They want to ensure that their ancestors' legacies aren't treated like museum curiosities or clickbait fodder. There's also the risk of over-reliance on technology. AI can show us what's buried and even suggest theories, but it can't interpret meaning the way a human can. Culture, belief, and symbolism aren't just patterns in the data. They are experiences shaped by history and humanity. If we're not careful, we could lose the nuance that makes archaeology so fascinating in the first place. Still, it's hard not to feel a sense of awe at what's happening. For the first time, we're truly peeling back the layers of time, not by digging blindly, but by letting the past reveal itself, pixel by pixel. The Moai have stood for centuries as silent guardians of a forgotten world. Now, thanks to AI, they're speaking again, and the world is finally listening. Even after all this, the truth is we've only scratched the surface, literally and metaphorically. The AI scans of Easter Island's Moai statues didn't just uncover buried stone and strange symbols. They uncovered the possibility that entire chapters of human history have been lying just out of reach, waiting for the right tools and the right questions to bring them to light. What's most humbling isn't how advanced the technology is, but how deeply human the mystery remains. These weren't just statues built for decoration or ego. They were part of something bigger, something sacred, maybe even something urgent. Whether they were warning signs, spiritual sentinels, or ancient timekeepers, one thing is clear: the people who built them knew things we've forgotten. And now, piece by piece, AI is helping us remember. But with that knowledge comes responsibility to investigate without destroying, to question without disrespecting, to explore, not just with data, but with empathy. Because for all the breakthroughs we might achieve, the real discovery may not be what's buried beneath the statues, but what those mysteries teach us about ourselves, our past, and the kind of future we're building. So now we're left with a question, one that echoes across time through the stone faces of the Moai and into the digital eyes of our AI tools. What else have we misunderstood? And what else is waiting to be uncovered? For more content like this, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.